Hi, my name is Lindsay. Today is Wednesday, December 31st of 2025. Welcome. I haven't been on here for a few years videoing, but I'm back in a new season of life, and that's very fitting because I'm going to be sharing with you a new business that I also am endeavoring into. A new old business, but a new way of life. So it's been several years since I've been here, and let me just tell you, I'm glad that the Lord has been so faithful in not only walking me through a season, but growing me and molding me, and just learning so many things along the way. You know, we would not choose to walk through challenging seasons in our lives, but it's definitely those times where we can look back later on and see the Lord's hand, how He has been with you, so faithful. So even though that was a hard season, I'm just so glad to be here today to get back into creating beauty and functional things to house decor, cross stitch, quilting, and machine embroidery. So if you heard that right, machine embroidery, I didn't have that on my channel before, but it is a former love of mine. I've had this beautiful embroidery machine for 10 years now, and I have been in the business and also hobby of machine embroidery for about 15 years now altogether, because it started when my youngest was born and she's 15. So in former years, my machine embroidery business was on Etsy, which it is again now. It was formerly known as Happy Monogram Market, where I was stitching mostly children's attire like holiday and birthday shirts, as well as fun Christmas family pajamas that were personalized or monogrammed with appliques or a name. So those were a lot of fun seasons in the past, but I had to put those aside for a season, like I said. But being that the Lord has been faithful in walking and bringing me to this new chapter of life, I have created a new business once again on Etsy, but under the name of New Life Needleworks. And I chose the name Needleworks because I don't want to be limited to just machine embroidery. I don't know yet how the Lord will move in this business, but I wanted to be able to use the idea of needleworks to encompass cross stitching and quilting also. So we will see what becomes of this endeavor. But for now, I just wanted to let you know that I am back offering machine embroidery services both locally and by mail. So I can do children's clothing, I can do home decor like napkins or table linens, pillows. But I also want to share that I want to bless the foster children community locally with sample sales and discounted, sometimes giveaways, things of that nature. So that's just a little side part that feels like a ministry part of my business. So let's start with some things that I've been up to lately. And I'm going to start with quilting first. So for quilting, first I want to show you what I have been working on. Something that I pulled out that I worked on in the past, but it's been quite a while since I have touched it. But this is the Bonnie Camille Quilt Bee book, and the cover picture is of the Shine On sampler. And in the past years, I have sewn the first 3 months worth of blocks. And if you see up in the corner here, these X box, those are called the cross stitch blocks. And I actually pulled out the book and the fabric the other day, and I got these done. So I really am happy with these. They're very pretty. There's 7 altogether. I did have to watch the help of another YouTube creator to see how to cut them just right, because the first time I did not do it correctly. But I'm thankful for YouTube for many reasons, and that being one of them. So that's my quilting that I wanted to show you, as well as I have a delivery from the Secret Stitch Company. I participate in the goodie boxes from Layla Boutique. Her brand of fabric is called Wild Honey. It came with 2 patterns, one for a quilt piece and one for a project bag. Both very cute. Let's show you these fabrics. They're so delicious. Little bumblebees, flowers, more bumblebees and hives. Aren't they beautiful? Look at the flowers. Just the little fine details of the hearts, and they have sayings on the bottom of the fabric. It's very pretty, very sweet. It's like grown-up love mail, right? Receiving them in the mail at least. I'll get better with videoing again in the future. It's just a little challenging since I've not been doing it for a while. Okay, and it came with the zipper and the vinyl for the front of the project bag if I should decide to do that, as well as a cute little zipper pull. It's very pretty that you can put on the project bag. So that is from my Layla Boutique's box that I get, I believe, quarterly from the Secret Stitch Company. I think they also have a box for Robin Pickens, another cross-stitch and fabric designer. So December, I'm going to show you what I've been stitching cross-stitch wise. Can you hear my dogs? Okay, we'll start with The Lord is My Shepherd. Simple and sweet, yet so meaningful. Turn this into a pillow. Layla Boutique fabric from a Christmas line years ago. Another Primrose Cottage pattern that was recently released is Prince of Peace, and I turned it into a little pillow with some, I don't know, it reminds me of a quilt. I'm not sure what you would call that, but I just stuck with red because I felt like Prince of Peace being the important part. I wanted that to stand out the most. And then also their Nativity Quaker. It's beautiful. I love it. And again, a little red pillow on the back. I do little whip stitches on the bottom, so that's those pieces. Okay, I wanted to show you something that I have stitched in the years past. I believe it's from Cherry Hill Stitchery. This is Merry Christmas with a little snowman. I had it laying around, not fully finished, for at least a year, if not longer, looking for the perfect finishing piece, and I found it this year in the Target dollar spot. It's this cute little sled, and it fit perfectly. And I just layered a couple of ribbons. So I really like how that turned out. It was very, very sweet. Another thing that I started in December was I like to stitch ornaments for our 3 daughters for a Christmas gift. And it's really hard sometimes trying to figure out, okay, which ornament should I get for the girls? And what are they into? What do they like? What kind of decor do they like for Christmas? So to make it a little easier this year, I decided to choose a Christmas series for each of them. And then each year I can just add another ornament to the collection. So in the following years, they'll have a nice little collection, I hope. So let me show you what I chose. So for my oldest, I chose from the Frosty Forest collection. This is very fitting because we talk on the phone. She lives in Texas, and she likes to call me when she's out for walks, and often she sees deer. So I thought that was very fitting, as well as the little button, snowflake button. And then my middle daughter lives in Florida. This is her piece from the Gingerbread Village collection. It's a cute little gingerbread button on there too. And last but not least, our youngest daughter is into pink and bows and all things pastel and girly right now. So I made her the swan from the pastel collection. It's not like a series, but the pastel collection will be right up her alley. So this is the first time that I have finished a flat fold finish with a sticky board and a piece of batting to make it just a little thicker, and then Aleene's glue to wrap that around the sticky board, and I finished with felt pieces on the back. And I'm waiting to receive an order from Etsy of labels, iron-on labels, that says handmade by and then my name. So I'm waiting for those. I've already gifted these, obviously, but I really love how those turned out. They're really sweet. So to carry on, to talk about cross-stitching, what I'm up to and what I have planned, this is the first year that I am jumping into the Wipgo idea of trying to keep things straight and motivated and accountable. That's why I'm doing this. Years past, I thought it would be, way too much for me, but time has moved on, and so have my cross-stitch skills and the time that I spend there. But let me just pull out my board here. Oh, first of all, let me show you the whip that I have been working on recently. So back to the Primrose Cottage, they also released Hark the Herald. They also came out with Joy to the World. Here, I'll show you these. All of them are religious themed, which is right up my alley. So I have stitched Prince of Peace and the Nativity, Quaker, and the Lord is my shepherd, and now this one, Hark the Herald Angels Sing. So this is a current project. I have it in my hoop here, but let me take it out. My Nurge hoop. With my little pretty dove needle minder that I have from them also. It's really sweet. Here you go. Hark the Herald Angels Sing, Glory to the Newborn Will Be King. I have a few more angels and the Nativity to finish, and just a couple small pieces and around the border, and then that will be a finish. So this is what I'm working on until January 1st. Then it will also be on my Wipgo board. Put that back in here. So that's the current whip until New Year's Day. Then I have what's called a blessing sampler, I believe. I have also not participated in a blessing sampler before, but I decided to this year. I recently joined the Patreon for Sweet Wing Studio, and she released this Jeremiah 29:11 scripture sampler called A Hope and a Future. I love this verse. I think about it often because God is sovereign and his plans will not be thwarted. So I find much peace in knowing that what's meant to be, God will make sure it will happen or not happen according to his timing and his purposes. So I'm really excited about that. I have kitted up the project. I believe this is an R&R Winter Brew color. I'm not 100% on that. I need to do better on keeping track of what fabric is what. But I have my flosses ready to go. I take these little metal rings that I found an idea of somebody else, and I label it with the name, and it says Blessing Sampler on one side, Hope in a Future Sweet Wing Studio on the other. I also like to use the idea of library cards. I got this idea from Lori Holt. So on the card, I have the name of the designer and the name of the pattern, the date that I'm starting it on, which will be tomorrow the 1st. I'm using the called for DMCs. I write down the size, the stitch count, and then the size of the fabric plus how much of a border. I use the Fat Quarter Shop free cross stitch calculator tool to help me figure all these things out. So this is my blessing stitch, and what I believe is the ideal is that you start and finish the blessing sampler piece in the January of the new year to kind of bless your needle. I'm not going to say that I must finish it within the first month. I don't want to put that added pressure on myself, but if I do, I do, and if I don't, that's okay. I think I'll be blessed either way. So that's my blessing sampler and my current whip. But now let's talk about Wipgo. So I've never participated in Wipgo before, but I'm excited to this year. I think that it will help me stay accountable and motivated to work on some projects that I might not have otherwise. In fact, that I haven't in a while, and pulling them all out the other day and going through them was helpful to see what I had. I took a little note here. So here's the Wipgo board that I found online. I filled it out. Then I went on to Canva and found a bingo board, and I changed it for my needs. So I've got all of the names there, and they already have pulled number 2 and 7, which I have colored in with a light gray to say that they've been pulled. So January's numbers are 2 and 7, which is This Is the Day by Plum Street Samplers and Winter Rose Manor by Brenda Gervais. I found that my board is mostly Plum Street Samplers, Brenda Gervais, and Primrose Cottage. Some of my favorites, obviously. So I have a balance between 10 whips that are on my Wipgo board. So every month, this woman will pull numbers, and those are the 2 numbers of the projects that you have filled out your Wipgo card that you should work on. Now, many people can go and make high and mighty goals to very little and minimum, and that's kind of where I'm going is I just want to work on them. I don't have plans to finish or hours per se that I need to do. I think I'll just keep it simple and say that I'm going to work on them, and that'll be sufficient. So there are 12 new starts on my board. There are 10 whips and 2 what I'm calling start overs, things that I've started in the past on other fabric. Maybe I made a mistake along the way and needed to stop, but 2 that I'm starting over. So 12 new starts, 10 whips, and 2 start overs are on my board. I'm going to go through and show you what those are now. Starting with the ones that were already called for January. I have here This Is the Day by Plum Street Samplers. Can you see it here? I've got it started, but I haven't touched it in months. So I'm happy to get back to this. I was very happy with the numbers that were pulled. That's the first one, or number 2, I should say. And number 7, I pulled Winter Rose Manor by Brenda Gervais. Another one that's beautiful from probably last winter that I started. I did the smaller project first. I finished that already. It's been sitting in my project bag. But here is the piece, pardon the piece that's hanging, the floss, but here is the house that I've started. So not a lot, but not too shabby to start off with. So those are the 2 Wipgo pieces that I will set aside some time in January to stitch on, as well as my sampler blessing. And who knows if anything else will squeeze its way into there. Okay, I'm going to show you the rest of what I have. So the next one is This I Know from Plum Street Samplers, and this is a start over. Trying to get the film just right. This I Know from Plum Street Samplers. I had started this before, but I need to get a new piece of fabric. I kept the same flosses because there was a process of tea dyeing them, and I've already done that, so I want to keep those handy. And my little notes on here that this one needs fabric. Next is Glitter Village. So I'll just show you an example, but this is another 9-piece collection. Oh, forgive me. But they're all very pretty. Let me show you where I've gotten to on here before. I know I've shown this in the past, but like I said, it's been a few years. Here's the Glitter Village piece that I have so far. So the first 2 houses, and then I stopped but it's really pretty. And I don't know why. I hope it's not visible from your end, but I'm filming a video on the QuickTime app on my Mac, and it keeps going into sleep mode. So every once in a while I have to touch it and try to keep it awake. Okay, and then American Welcome by Plum Street Samplers. Let's see, do I have that? Yes, I do. This is a big, beautiful piece by Plum Street Samplers. I've got to get the right. I have started this, and I made a boo-boo in it, and I put it in timeout, and it stayed in timeout a long time because I was not sure if I should just. Obviously, there's quite a bit that I did. I messed up in the grass, and I didn't want to just throw this away, obviously. But now, have had it sit out for a while, I've decided that I'm going to leave it as is. From here, you won't even be able to tell that there's a mistake unless you have great vision. But I'm going to just jump back in, finish the mistakes, make them look the best they can, and go on. So I think that's a beautiful piece. It's a big one, but I'll be looking forward to that one being called. Okay, the next one is called Bobbins. This is from Stacy Nash, and she has a series called Animal Crackers. If you've not heard of that, you need to go look at her Animal Crackers series, but they're very precious little animals, and this is Bobbins, or Bobbin. And I started this a while ago, but I messed it up, so I'm going to start all over. So I have nothing to show you there, but other than the pattern. Moving on, I'm going to show you that I have the Keeper of the Pins from Brenda Gervais. I'm just going to show you that. I have made several of these, but not all of them, so I want to continue with that. I can show you those on another video, what I've already stitched. Okay, then we have Between Friends, a fall sampling. This is a combination of hands-on designs as well as Summer House Stitchworks, and it's in a really pretty booklet. There's several different type of projects in this. I have started the front sampler piece though, so I'll show you what I've got done so far. I did it on a light gray fabric. That's what I've got started. So that will be on my Wipgo board. And then, let's see. This is some more Primrose Cottage pieces. I have done, let's show you what I finished. I believe this was one of their Sip and Stitch box. I could be wrong, but the berry basket, I've done that on the light gray again, but I've got a little bitty baby start on the strawberry quilt piece, which is this strawberry quilt. I've just got a little baby start, so I'm putting that on my Wipgo board as well. I've got all the goodies to finish the projects that I need to get around to. So I'm happy to have that on the board and in my hands sometime this year. And I need to fully finish this. But I'm saving that until the other piece is done and so that they can coordinate. Okay, then we have Nativity Tiny Town, which is a new start for me in this month of December. It's by Heart and Hand. Let's see. That's a better shot of that. It's a long piece, or you can finish it as a drum. I've never done a drum before, but that would be interesting to do. I've got a small start on that I did this month. So I'll show you that. Beautiful, the inside, the middle start of the Nativity with an angel. So that is on my Wipgo board. Moving on, we have another one called Quaker Endurance. I believe that this is by My Big Toe, which is quite a funny name for a pattern designer. Let's see if I can find a picture real quick. Yes. The grass withers and the flower fades, but the word of our God endures forever. That's why it's called Quaker Endurance. I love that. So I've got a very small start on this, very, very small. Just a couple of letters, but I'll show it to you anyway. Just a couple small letters. So that is on my Wipgo board. It's a bigger piece, so it's a little intimidating, so I started it and put it aside, but I'm excited to get back to that too. Okay, next we have what I'm calling God Bless America. I have a couple of pieces from another Primrose Cottage Sip and Stitch. Okay. So it's called America, My Home Sweet Home. It's a little village. Got that in there, and I'd like to say that this is in dedication of America's upcoming 250th anniversary. And also included in that, and a lot of goodies, is God Bless America. So I have not started either of those, so those will be brand new starts. And I have the finishing kit, the flosses, the floss drops that came with it. It's really, really cute. So all of these I look forward to stitching on. Okay, then another piece I have is called Autumn Provides. I think I saw Kimberly Jolly stitch this a couple years ago, and I loved it ever since. Here's the pattern, Autumn Provides. This is a brand new start, so I have nothing done yet, but it's all kitted up and ready to go. Okay, then I have a fall piece called, Cozy Lane Sampler. I don't have fabric for this one yet, but let me just show you the design. This is from Erin Elizabeth, and I love all things fall, and so as soon as I saw this released, I purchased it. Isn't that adorable? So this will be a brand new start for me. I do have the floss, I just need to get the fabric. Stick this back in here. Making a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. Next, I have Between Friends Winter. No, that's not right. I missed one. Okay, Between Friends Winter. It's another booklet between Hands-On Designs and Summer House Stitch Works. And again, it has several patterns for different things. And I have the fabric for this. 2 different pieces. A linen in the color of flax, and then French Country Rain, which was the called for. So I do need to kit up the floss for that. Actually, no, I have it right here. That's something I did the other day. Just a few flosses, but beautiful colors. Okay, so that's Between Friends Winter. That's a new start. And another new start will be the Noel Sampler. This has been on my, I guess you could call it wish list for some time. It is a Brenda Gervais piece. I need fabric for this one, but I do have the floss all kitted up. Here it is, the pattern. Beautiful for Christmas. Just awaiting some fabric. And so the ones that don't have fabric, if it gets called, obviously I will be making a fabric order and hopefully starting on that month. few more. I have my Hark of Herald Angels Singing. I already showed that to you, so that's on the board next. And then this is called Love and Learning by Emily Call. I really like this as a homeschool mom. I kind of feel like it's representative of learning at home. So this is a brand new start. I have the flosses, but not the fabric. You see a running theme here. Okay, we're getting down. Let's see. Have a cup of cheer. Don't have this in a bag yet. Oh, can't show you that. Yeah, I'll have to show you that when I start working on it, but that's another one. And then the American Sampler by Primrose Cottage. Let's see if I can find that one. I ran out of project bags, so obviously I need to sew or buy some project bags, but this is beautiful. I love this. So another patriotic one. And then, let's see here. Indigo Lane by Brenda Gervais is another piece that I have loved for several years and have had on hand, but I have not pulled it out and started, so that's on my Wipgo board. And then the summer, both summer and spring ABCs from Little House Needleworks. I'll show them both to you. Let's see. Spring, summer. I love those. I've already finished the fall one and I turned it into a little hanging piece. So I'd like to do those to hang them where that hangs during the fall and the other seasons. Okay, and last but not least, last thing I have on my Wipgo board is 12 monthly minis from Primrose Cottage. I have done several of these, maybe 3 or 4, but I'd like to do the rest. So I think that's a great start for our first video back. So if you are interested in following along, I'd love if you followed and subscribed to my channel. I'm excited to get back into the groove, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And God bless you in 2026. Bye.